Hey everybody, I'm Todd and I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to take a look at the Xvive PX Personal Portable Monitor Mix Controller System. This can be a great option if you have a home or project studio or you're putting on some basic live performances where you want to give the artist a little more control over their mix. So let's check it out. Now this is everything you get in the box with the PX system. Now I'd like to thank Xvive for sending this to me. This is not a sponsored video or a required review. I didn't have to make this. Xvive had no input and they won't see the video before you. But after working with it for a while, I thought this might be something you'd be interested in. Now the system allows you to transfer up to 3 channels of audio from a mixer or audio interface directly to the artist where they can control the mix. And so you start out with a dongle that connects up to your mixer or interface. You're going to get 3 balanced inputs here. There's also a connection for a power adapter. I'll talk about that in a moment. Now, if you don't want to use an XLR balance connection, they do provide 1/4-inch adapters, but you'll see that they're XLR to TS, so an unbalanced. So if you use these adapters, it's going to be an unbalanced signal coming from your mixer or from your audio interface. There are also balanced versions of these adapters, and they work as well with the system. Now, once you get the audio into the inputs, it's going to be aggregated and sent out over an Ethercon cable. And it comes with a 25-foot version. You can get up to 200 feet that'll work with this system. So you're going to connect one end of your Ethercon into the output, and then you have your master controller, which is going to sit with the artist. That has another Ethercon connection on the other side. It's just a Cat5 here. You can also use regular Cat5 cable. And that's going to bring the signal into the mixer where we have input 1, 2, and 3. And on the end, we have a headphone output as well as a power and volume control. And so the other button we see here is also a battery versus PoE. This allows you to connect a 9-volt adapter in at the end with your mixer, or you can use 2 AA batteries that are built into here. You get about 5 hours runtime, depends on how loud you play it. Now also in here, you're going to see there are 3 sets of dip switches, and this allows you to control the panning for each of the 3 inputs. Each input on here is mono, so if you want to have a stereo signal, you're going to pan one to the left and one to the right using the dip switches, and then you can have a third one that can be either for a mono signal or to one ear again. So it gives you that option to send it through that way. If you think about it, you could use 1, 2 as left-right for your mix, and the third one is a click track, and I'll show you that in a demo up shortly. Also, you could have just individual sources here and here the mono, so whatever you want to do. Of course, 2 AAA batteries can go in this section here. So either way, if you're going to use it for a long set, I recommend you use a power adapter for reliability, but batteries are a quick way to get this up and going. Now, when I look at the build quality, I'm going to say everything is well made with this product. The connections here are very solid, very rigid. The cables are nice quality, and each of the housings also, they're metal, and so they're going to stand up here. The dials also are a nice positive feel to them. They don't turn all that easily, the same with the volume control, and that's what you're going to want so that the artist doesn't accidentally bump them and throw their mix off during a performance. So I'm actually really happy with that. You can see the construction can be taken apart, so repairs can be done on this as well if you need to do that. So again, build quality here looks very good. So I've set up a pretty basic demo here how this might work in a recording application. And so you see I've set up a headphone mix as well as a click track here. The headphone mix is coming out on my outputs number 29 and 30, and my click tracks on number 31. I went ahead and plugged these into my patch base, so I've got 29, 30, and 31 here. That's going to give me left and right for the headphone mix as well as the click track. Now you could just as easily set this up for individual instruments, vocals, whatever you want to have coming through here. It's just a matter of configuring the outputs in your DAW. Now then you'll go ahead and play this back. Now the advantage here is, again, the artist has control over the relative level of the mix and the click track. And I don't have to have the click track coming through the master, so if I'm monitoring and listening to that back in the control room, I don't have to be distracted with that either. So let's just go ahead, I'll start playback and show you what I mean. So now you can hear I have the click track mixed in with the regular headphone output, and I can go ahead and I can increase the click track if I want. And so it's all relative in terms of how you want to set the mix up. Again, here I'm giving the mix pre-configured from the DAW, so the artist isn't going to have control of how much bass or how much guitars or otherwise, but that can be configured here as well. So again, in a recording application, you just depends whatever you want to send to each channel, the artist can control what they have. Now, if you're using this in a live application, you'd go ahead and do the same thing, only coming out of your mixer, and again, decide whatever buses or individual tracks you want to have coming through. I made up a bit of an audio test here, nothing scientific, but just so you can hear the difference between the audio patch directly through the converters of my Orion 32 Plus Gen 3 versus inserting the PX into the loop. Now, as I said, the audio comparison is not intended to be a technical test of the performance of the PX system, but to give you an idea of any coloration the system may add. And when you take a look at the graphs here, on a log basis, direct versus through the PX, the profile here for the Jazz is very, very much the same. Switching over to linear, again, there's not a whole lot of difference anywhere I can see across this. And then when we look at the rock recording, same thing here. The log graphs look very much the same, as do the linear graphs. So, you can expect that this is going to give you a realistic representation for monitoring through your headphones, and that's what we want. It's not for mixing, it's not for mastering. We just want the artist or performer to have a good idea of what things actually sound like. Now, as usual, I'm not going to spend a lot of time reading a spec sheet to you. You can go ahead and check that out at the link in the description below if you want more information. But I will bring this to your attention. I've tested the PX system with a variety of headphones that are commonly used for monitoring. So like Audio-Technica 20, 30, 40, 50s, Sennheiser HD280s, Sony 7506s, and the new M1, the Biodynamic DT770, 250 ohm version. You can get plenty of volume out of this system. There's no issue with levels here. Even if you want to use this for a drummer while recording, it'll get plenty loud. They're going to hear what they need to. So overall, I'm going to say it's pretty flexible as far as whatever headphones you want to use. Again, check out more information below. Now, before I give you my final thoughts, I want to let you know about one more feature with this system, and that's expandability. There is a hub available that allows you to connect up to 5 of the PX mixers into one set of outputs. So in other words, if you want to run the 3 outputs from your mixer or audio interface over one Ethercon cable out to the hub, you can then connect up the 5 PX or up to 5 PX mixers to that. So if you got a band on stage or multiple people recording in a room aside from the control room, you can give each of them their own mix. Again, they'll all have access to the same 3 sources, but it can be advantageous if one person likes the click track a little louder than the other, or one person wants a little more vocals, someone wants a little more bass, whatever instrument they're playing. So that's a great thing to know here, and it's expandable. The basic system at the time of recording, I think it's about $130 US, 180 in Canada where I am. So it's fairly affordable to get into for a mixing system, and again, you can expand it after that. Now, in terms of final thoughts here, I think this is a really flexible option if you have a home or project studio, or again, you're putting on small shows, maybe even a one-person show, but again, you could expand this over time. The build quality here is really good. I think the sound quality is there as well. We're not going to use this for mixing on, this is for monitoring, but still, we want a good representation of what's being recorded or what's going out over the PA, and it really does that. So I encourage you to check this out if it's something you're looking for, and you need to be able to have that control at the artist or performer level. Now, if you're looking for more information on gear to help your workflow out in the studio or on stage, check out one of the videos below. As always, I do appreciate you joining me. It's been great having you, and I'll see you next time.